Hello, welcome to Nana's Journey, and this is month 2 of the Jane Austen 250th anniversary block of the month. I'm still cutting things out, but I wanted to point out a few things first. One, when I cut things out, I just put things in a baggie. There's more than one block for each city, but I just put everything for Bath in the Bath, everything for Hampshire in Hampshire. Also, I believe in the last video I said that the Kent blocks were next, and I was wrong. It's the Hampshire. So I've got all the fabrics for these cut out. I still have to cut out the interfacing. I've got most of the borders cut out. I am still doing that. I still have the stems to cut out. But I wanted to remind you, first, one thing on this Jane Austen At Home Isabella, it says to cut 4 strips. I needed to cut 5 in order to get the right number of squares. So hopefully I needed 22 for border 5 and 12 for the London block. And then you cut 9 strips with the fabric for the binding. Now for this one, this fabric is the Mrs. Bates. You are going to fussy cut 20 strips by the length of fabric, not the width of fabric. And you do not want your fabric folded because you are fussy cutting. Now, just because I was curious and wanted to keep track, I put a clip at every other brown strip, because this brown strip, where the clip is going to be the center of my border, the piece of fabric I'm cutting. And when I'm done with the clips, I know I'm done cutting. So what you want to do is you want to cut so that your 1.5 inch strip is this red, the brown, and the red, so that the brown is in the middle. And that is 1.5 inches, but you will have to fussy cut it. These are almost, a 1/2 inch a piece. You do need to go just a teensy bit into the outer brown. So you're just going to line it up. Move the fabric a little if you need to. Now I'm going to cut off that outside line. We need 1.5 inches. It's a cute little flower pattern in this. It almost looks like a ribbon, but there's no seam allowance, so I'm going to get rid of it. But yeah, keep in mind that this is directional, so that when you join your pieces together for the borders, that the flowers are going in the same direction. Okay. That one's number 10, and I need 20. So this does take quite a bit of time. Like I said, I'm still cutting out all the pieces. When I'm done with all the fabrics, I will cut out all my interfacings. Then I will get all my pieced fabrics, anything that needs to be marked with a diagonal or whatever, I'll get all of those marked. And then I will start sewing. So that's all I have for now. I will come back when I'm ready to do the next step. Okay, I'm sorry for the voiceover, but I forgot to turn on my microphone. But when you're making the stems, you want to use the Clover bias tape maker. This is number 6, and it's green. I guess there's other bias tape makers out, but I've got Clover. But I've made the stems for my quilt, but can you see these crease marks in there? I don't like that. And it's in all of them. They've got this little crease pressed into them. And on border 3, there's a long piece of these that all the leaves go on. And so I'm going to try and remake it. She had you cut the width of the fabric at 5/8. I am going to try it again at 1/2 inch. I'm also going to try doing the heat and bond light if that doesn't work. I've got enough cut here for the width to make several of these. I'm going to need 4 for border 3, but I'm going to give the bias tape maker one more try. And so I've got my 1/2 inch strip. I've got the one end cut into an arrow, kind of. You're just going to push it through, and you can use a pin. Okay, and just get a pin and help push it through so that it comes out the other end. Then you're going to want to hold that down, and you put your iron next to the tape maker, and you slowly iron. And then I like to take my pins and pin the end so that I can iron it without it moving. Then just go along slowly. Okay, this one's actually turning out. There's no crease mark in it. So maybe that 1/2 inch worked better. So move it back down the ironing board so that you can iron some more. And just keep going again. Okay, this one turned out good. I'm sorry I didn't show you a close-up, but this one is nice and smooth like they're supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and make these for the borders. But if you want to do raw edge applique, you can just get your heat and bond light, attach your fabric to it, wrong side to the glue side of the heat and bond light. I'm going to turn it over so the glue doesn't get on my iron. And just iron it down. It only takes a few seconds and it's fused. And then you can just cut your strips and so peel the heat and bond off, lay it on your fabric, and sew it down. So I will probably use these for a future project. Okay, I have most everything prepped. What I'm going to do now is sew the fabric to the interfacing, turn them around and press them. And I'm going to go ahead and go through all the blocks and do that, and not just the Hampshire. In the pattern, it'll show you which flowers go with which leaves and everything. So you're just going to have your fabric face side up, right side up. And you're just going to sew, and instead of back stitching, you're just going to go over your starting stitches. going to separate the facing, inner facing from the fabric. Make a little slit. Going to trim that. I'm going to cut that there. Anytime you have curves, you're going to have to make clips. The tighter the curve, the closer the clips. In fact, this right here probably doesn't need any clips at all. Okay, turn it right side out. It'll probably be easier if you don't put your slit down that far on that one. Maybe just go slit from here to here. But you want your turner tool to be between your fabric and your seam allowance. And then you can just help shape it along, make sure everything's out. Okay, sorry, I keep getting interrupted. We just found out our freezer is not working. So once you get it turned right side out, I think I want this smoothed out a little better. There. Okay, now you're going to press it, and if you put it under a tailor clapper, one of these, it'll be pressed even flatter. Okay, and that's how you do your pieces. Now I'm going to work on all the blocks so that by next month all I have to do is pull out my baggie and everything will be ready to go. Okay, I'm back and I finally have everything cut and prepped and ready to go. And yes, that took a long time. I have all the borders set and ready to go. All the pieces there. If they need to be marked, they're marked. This border that you fussy cut is still in strips. I haven't put any together. I'll do that when it's time for the borders. And then I've got my binding. And then I have all the borders into, each city, that you do each month. So this month is Hampshire, so I can just pull out the bag and all the pieces are cut, turned, ironed. They're ready to be glued down and sewn. So let me get that ready and I'll be right back. Okay, to prep my background, I'm going to fold in creases so that I can get my lines straight, or iron in creases. I'm going to do it both directions. Okay, this is a 10-inch square, and when you're done with your applique, it's going to be trimmed to 8.5. So I'm going to get a pencil and mark the 8.5 square, and then I will know how far I can go. I do like leaving a 1/2 inch space from the trim line to the edge of the applique. So that leaves a 1/4 space for the seam and a 1/4 inch space for just, a negative space between the seam and the applique. Okay, I've got my Tucker Trimmer 3 here, and I've got the 8.5 here, and this line here, and they meet right here. So I need to meet that in the center. Let's see, 8.5. There's the center. ready to put my applique on. Let me see how much that is, because I don't do math. I know what I think it is, but that doesn't mean that's what it is. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch all the way around. That's what I thought. All right, so let's get ready to put this together. Okay, I've got these all glued down. What I'm going to do is carefully take them over to the iron the top, then turn it over, iron the bottom, and that will help dry and set the glue. Okay, they're all glued and ironed on, so they're stuck. I will start the applique with the stems, then I will do the flowers and then the leaves. And I do this in the evenings when I'm relaxing, so I will show you when I'm done. Okay, I finally have the Hampshire block done, and I am actually quite pleased with how it turned out. I have learned some things. I learned that I like raw edge applique better. This has been a fun experience. I don't like turning all these things inside out. Also, I learned that on these leaves, don't come all the way to the edge. See, I've only got this slit. I had some, my daughter helped me, and she slit them to about here, and it was really, really hard to turn them out, so I just remade them. But it's much easier to turn them out if you don't, go too far. Another thing is I switched to using my free motion presser foot and just using free motion with the feed dogs down to do all of my applique pieces. I do have all of my bags ready to go. In my bag, I have my background, all my stems, and all my pieces. And Kent is the next block to do. And so all I have to do is grab my bag, iron the creases in my background, glue them down, and then I'm ready to stitch. So this has been quite the experience. There's the back. I have not trimmed these yet. I won't trim these until I'm ready to put them together in the quilt. But now they go back into my Hampshire bag until I'm ready for them. and I can stay organized and they don't get ruined and frayed even more. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time on Nana's Journey.